Good evening, everyone. I would like everyone to be welcome to the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City. We'll meet in a special meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Thursday, February the 20th, 2025 at 5 p.m. I would now like to establish a quorum. Roll call from my left, please.
Burns here.
Evans here.
Jacobs here.
Burson here.
Foster here.
We have a quorum. Citizens' comments. We don't have any. We will move on. New business, 4A. I'd like to open the public hearing regarding the completion of the Community Development Block Grant number CDV 21-0086, which is the Longleaf Drainage Improvements. Our sponsor on this item will be none other than our city manager, Dr. Smith.
Mayor and council, we have Wanda Vance here tonight, and she can give you some information. Anytime we get a grant from the TDA, and Wanda, feel free to correct me, but anytime we get a grant from the TDA, we have a final closeout public hearing, and that is what this is tonight. That project is finished, has been finished. Traylor and Associates and the TDA worked very closely with us. We were about one payment out when the president shut down grants, and they really helped us in about 24 hours to wrap up all the paperwork, get the final funding, and get that done. So it's been a great adventure, but it's time now to close it out, and we have to have one final public hearing to do that. So, Mayor, that is the purpose of this. All you have to do tonight. If anybody has questions, Wanda's here. If not, we can open the public hearing, see if we have public comments, and then close the public hearing.
Okay. Well, I'll open the public hearing. Does anyone have any comments?
I don't believe we got any comment cards.
If hearing none, I will close the hearing at this time. 4C, discussion regarding board applicants and appointments. Again, our sponsor of this item will be Dr. Smith, our city manager.
Council, tonight you have candidates here to be interviewed. You have 3 candidates for the EDC. We are doing 4B and 4C out of order so we can stay at the dais and then move to the tables for the discussion and for the financial policies, but that's why these are out of order. But you have candidates there, Mayor, that you can call up one by one. You have 3 candidates for the EDC, 1 candidate for Parks Board. I believe Janet sent all of their applications to council and a couple of different packets of information. So those were available. And Janet, do you remember which one was the Parks Board application? Annette. Okay, Annette. So Jerry, Alex, and Deanne Jones are all for the EDC, and Annette is the one application that we got for Parks Board. We will conduct the interviews here at the dais, and then we'll move down to the tables. Alex manages a building in Waxahachie, and he is stuck there due to weather damage. And we had put this last so that he could get here in time, but he is not going to be back to Gun Barrel for a few hours. So his application has everything, I think. If you have questions, we can give him a call. Janet can call him if we need to do that. But he really wanted to be here and was making arrangements to be here, and today just said there is no way. He's got some building problems and he's stuck. And I get it. If you're a building manager, you're stuck when the water starts running out of the walls. So we're seeing a lot of that right now.
I think it might be appropriate if he wants to say something that we maybe give him a call after we get through some of the.
Okay, Janet?
Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay. We will move forward then. Our first board applicant will be Jerry. I want to make sure I say this right. Jerry Rademacher. If you'll please come to the podium. Thank you. Sorry that I messed your name up.
Oh, that's all right. Hello.
Wow.
Oh. So Jerry, tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you want to decide to put your application in.
Well, okay, a little bit of background. I've been a resident here in Gun Barrel City for about 17 years now. I'm actually the owner of Foreman Fiber in Maybank. So my business is next door in Maybank. If you're not familiar with us, we're the big black buildings over there as you head out of town by Southside Elementary, going to Athens. So what we do is, my background is landscape architecture, so I'm a designer by trade. But I basically had started a company that deals with designing exterior site furnishings for commercial environments. So our products are benches, big planter systems, wall systems, that sort of thing, accessories that get specified all over the country and across borders. So I have a staff of approximately 25 right now in Maybank, and we're still growing. We're located on about 13 acres in 4 buildings, about just under 50,000 square feet. So the reason I've been interested in this is, for many years, getting a business started and being busy with my family. My kids are now out of the house. They all work for us, and we have grandchildren now here locally in the surrounding communities, but now I have more free time. I'm still running a business, still very busy, but I still have control of my calendar, and it kind of gives me the opportunity to finally get involved with our community. So that's really why I kind of took a look at this. Also, in terms of some of my background, I started out in design and doing a lot of municipal code compliant type products and plan submittals with municipalities that we worked for and those types of clients. Moved into retail, mixed use, hospitality projects all over the country. So I've always kind of been somewhat tied to that. Even today with our company, we still do a lot of municipal related projects all over the country. And I think I listed a lot of those out. A lot in Texas. We're working with City of Denver right now, but and then a lot of private type of development all over as well. So it's just one of those things I'm kind of passionate about. I love business, and I hope that I, as a local business owner, so to speak, that I can offer something that would be of use and contribute to the local EDC.
Thank you, Jerry. You have great qualifications. We're always excited when we get business owners such as yourself, because that's really what the EDC is about. Staff, do you have any questions? Ms. Rodemaker? Go right ahead, Ken.
I was reading your background information that you provided us, and you said that we still have a great deal of opportunity for diversifying what could be considered a destination seasonal community into a more livable, viable, thriving city. How would you go about doing that if you were on the EDC board? What would be some of the ideas that you might bring to the party?
Well, I think probably some of that stems from, after I did my initial application, what I did was go back and actually look at the 2020 comprehensive plan, look at the strategic plan for the EDC, really looking at the goals and the types of industries and types of businesses that you're trying to attract. A lot of my municipal experience has been not so much with destination communities like we have here, but municipalities that have traditional downtown atmospheres, that sort of thing. And this is so much different in this setting that we don't really have that. Like many others, we see the population swell over the weekends and in the seasons. And I have to say, the things I see lacking, that doesn't only come from just online. I don't really comment online as a business owner. I kind of keep myself clean and out of it, but I read a lot. And you see the frustration, you hear the frustration of what the services or the types of businesses that people are asking for, yet you kind of know, especially going back and reading the plan and looking at the demographics, what can be achieved and possibly what can't be achieved. Maybe what's oversaturated and what is really in demand. So I think there's lots of opportunity here. I do understand small town atmospheres. I was born and raised in a small town in the Midwest. But yet I've got lots of urban experience. And so I do understand the atmosphere of people saying, I don't want it to change. I want to keep it small. The fact of the matter is we're growing. There's lots of opportunity. It is a destination, community. And we have a lot of, residents that have second, third homes here. And those types of people also want different types of services. So I think maybe what I'm looking at is can I be of help in seeing if we can maybe target different types of businesses to give us that diversity? And are there any challenges?
Everybody wants a Brahms.
Yes, hear that a lot.
I have one additional question. The EDC has mainly two opportunities to assist the community. One is in loans and one is in grants. Mm-hmm. And if a business were to come to the board asking for a loan, how would you see that loan being possibly secured that, we're dealing here with taxpayer money. So to protect the taxpayer, but also help the loan along, what would you see as any kind of security that might be required on a loan like that we're not seen as just giving money away?
Well, my personal experience with working with like the Maybank EDC, when I got our property secured many years ago, that involved a performance agreement. So I had like 2 years to get our building done and built. And when it came down to it, we had a hard time getting our first appraisal done and down the road because we're a manufacturer. And our buildings were too nice for what they needed to appraise out to. It was a big issue. So after a few rounds of appraisals and that sort of thing, I was running out of time. And I basically went back to the EDC and said, you know what, can we reformat this? Can you give us more time? They worked with us on that. And so there was a performance agreement. But in that agreement, it says if you fail to build, we still own this property. And as you know, Maybank has a lot of their properties are owned by the EDC. And so they have that security and being able to claw back that property if you fail to perform. We've seen in other communities like Kemp and whatnot where they've given, property away. They've never got it back. And then whoever's going to build whatever business just fails to perform altogether and they have nothing. Right now, I'm actually under a loan with the EDC. In this instance, I wanted to acquire the additional 1.25 acres on the tip of our property, basically to move all of our water, to hold water. It's the worst thing you can do with property, I realize, but we had to put our water somewhere. So what the EDC did in working with us is that the way we secured this loan agreement was that we had an agreement for, I think, 3 to 5 years, maybe 3 years, that we would pay $100,000 in sales tax revenue, that they would gain that from us. If we fell short in that time, we would pay that in cash when that deadline came up. The other portion of that is that we put down a cash amount at the time when we actually secured that loan with the city. So we paid like a $50,000 payment. And then when we actually built our building on our existing property, they said, okay, when we give you the certificate of occupancy, you've got your last payment due there. So there was just things that were very creative in that process, and again, gave them some level of security that we were going to continue to follow through because I had skin in the game with putting money on the table. Money I knew I wasn't going to get back. So, and right now we're actually tracking ahead of schedule on our sales tax. We do a monthly report to the city and they know exactly where we're at. And so we'll be done with that actually like a year ahead of schedule. So it's just things like that where, they've been pretty creative in how they craft these agreements to make sure that they can get back what may be rightfully theirs if somebody comes in and says, I want to build, I have this dream, but then they fail to perform. And then you're out as a community, that property, so.
Is that Maybank EDC?
Maybank EDC, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a good explanation. I appreciate it.
Jared, can I ask you, and maybe sound a little leading, but I think one of the things that we're trying to get accomplished here too is we have to have we have to put forth some incentives also, and we have to be creative and be willing to create opportunities for new businesses to want to come here.
Yes.
And so the creativeness of our loans and stuff, and the ability for us to work with each person as an individual and not just have a stock program. Would you be receptive to something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, based on my experience, when we worked with the EDC on that initial, I think we got the initial 7.25 acres that we secured back in 2017, where we're at now, they actually broke off 2 acres, and they gave that 2 acres to us, and we purchased the remaining 5. So that was kind of part of their incentive package. I know very early on when I was looking for property and trying to figure out where we were going to do this thing, we knew we couldn't go to Dallas because we couldn't afford the property. We couldn't afford the taxes in Dallas, and all the families here. Some of the other communities that I did speak with was actually Terrell. And man, they were aggressive. They were like, you're a manufacturer, we want you here, you're woman-owned, we'll give you the property. We'll talk about tax abatement. Let's, And for me, it was attractive, but again, I commuted to Dallas for years. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted it to be very close to home. So I think there are different things we can look at. Instead of just being, a set amount of money, is there something else that can be done with property, but yet not leave the city in a vulnerable position of losing out on money? Is there a better way to create or craft these agreements?
Love that. Thank you. Any further questions for?
I just really appreciate that you've actually personally been through the experience. I think that bringing that to an EDC and having experienced that, you'll be able to have some empathy for what those business owners are going through. So I love that.
Thank you.
None? Jerry, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate you. Next up, we have Deanne Jones.
Hi, Deanne Jones. I've been a resident of Gun Barrel for 22 years now. I don't have any personal experience working with EDCs. I really just applied because I kind of want to learn more about how city works, and my kids are all basically grown now. My youngest is a senior in high school, and I think I'll have more time on my hands. I do work full-time, but I just really want to learn more about how things in the city work. And I know as long as I've lived here, I've always kind of wondered why there aren't more options in this town. So it's something I kind of would like to explore. Yeah, I don't know anything about the inner workings of the city, but again, something that I'd be really interested in learning about, and just finding out how we could get more options in this town, not just for myself, but for all the residents and even the smaller towns in the same area. If we have something that people want or will attract people, they're all going to come here for that. Mainly from nothing against Walmart. We all love Walmart, but it's like, why don't we have another grocery store option? Because a lot of the shopping I do now, I work in Waxahachie, so I'll actually spend a lot more time and more money when I'm in Waxahachie because there's just so many more options available there. And I would just like to be able to see that come here and see the city grow and change and just kind of move forward a little bit.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Dan?
Do you have any thoughts at all on how you would help make that happen?
I really don't know. I mean, I think I would have to be given a direction. Like, I don't know how the incentives you guys were talking about work about bringing businesses in. But if anything I could learn, I'm willing to learn and put in the time and effort to do what I can to try and get those businesses here.
Further questions?
Well, we have one opening on the economic development. We have one on planning and zoning. Would you be willing to learn from planning and zoning?
Absolutely. I would be open to pretty much anything. Yeah.
Further questions? I appreciate you so much putting in your application.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker be for Parks Board, Annette Everett.
Hello. Okay, a little bit about myself. Started out as a weekender in Gun Barrel City back in the 90s and retired in 2016 from corporate real estate. My husband and I have been in the real estate and land development business for a number of years, and he recently passed away, and we always talked about getting more involved, so here I am to become more involved if there's a spot for me. Being retired, I hang out with a lot of ladies who also are in the same boat as me. Retired, we play a lot of cards. We do a lot of Zumba. We do a lot of walking, a lot of dog talk, a lot of shopping. And we have all agreed that there's limited resources
for the aging population in this area, not just Gun Barrel, but all around the lake. So Parks and Rec Board is something I'm extremely interested in. Again, I have a lot of friends that would rally around me to help bring in some better services. I know there's lots of talk about expanding the parks area, building a building, having some kind of a recreation type center, gathering place. We don't need another senior citizen center. We need recreation is what we need. Parties, gatherings, additional festivals, et cetera. So that's why I'm here.
That's great. I love it. Further questions?
Would you give any priority to the walking trails at the park? Have you
Absolutely.
used them?
I have. They're horrible. They need some love and tender love and care.
You've answered my question, okay? One of the problems we always have, of course, is when it comes where the rubber meets the road is money. The Parks Board has a modest budget.
Right.
Probably should have more, but there's also maybe some always ideas out there for activities that might bring in money, fundraisers. You have any ideas along that line?
Yeah, again, it depends on facilities. I mean, you can always rent tents, et cetera, but having a permanent facility at some point in time is where the big money is going to be raised. Renting out rooms, perhaps even, charging a fee for card games, for ping pong, for pool, whatever can be accomplished. But yes, there's a lot that not only Gun Barrel City, but Maybank, all of the surrounding cities. I wish sometimes we could just combine all the surrounding cities so we could have this huge budget to be able to really apply and provide facilities for everyone in all age groups. But yes, I know money is always an object. It is in my household, so why wouldn't it be in the government, right? So, yeah, there's lots of opportunities. My circle of friends, again, we're all over the age of 65. We pay this fee to this gym and this fee to that thing and this one to that one, and if the possibility ever came about, there's no reason why citizens of this city, for the right facilities, wouldn't also pay a membership fee, just like a YMCA, et cetera.
Well, I think it's a good point regarding the community center we're building. I think it is going to have to somehow be partially self-supporting.
Yep. It's exciting. Got a lot of citizens rooting for that.
Thank you. That's all the question I have. Thank you.
Annette, I love the fact that you think outside the box, that we could encompass many more of the other communities around the lake. We have a program through our Mayor's Coalition. If you're not careful, you'll end up being our next speaker. But that's a great idea, and that's the stuff that we're looking for, that type of forward thinking, and doing it as a group, because some municipalities, it's hard for them with limited budgets, but to do something like that, that's a great thought process. I appreciate you very much. Any further questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to 4B, a discussion regarding the financial policy, investment policy, and purchasing policy. Our sponsor of this item will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
Mayor, we can move to the tables. I sent all of council, you've seen these policies multiple times. We also need to have a discussion on who we want to appoint to boards. You did your interviews, but I would recommend we move down to the tables to finish out the discussion.
We will now move to the tables. Oh, okay.
Starting next Tuesday. this is the only thing we're really adding, like all the construction and,
Is that in the overall financial policies
I don't know.
or the purchasing policy?
Okay.
I don't know if it's four.
Oh,
Something.
So that's-
19 or 40.
That is in the purchasing policy, so we are gonna get there, Rita. We're in just the general financial policies first. Okay, and then investment policy, I have shared this with all of you. You all have followed this policy for many years. But staff can't approve policies, and y'all know how I feel about that. It's very important to me that there's a policy for the city, that it lies in the policy holder, which is our city council. So this is a policy we follow. Janet and Mickey follow it very closely with our investments. They keep a very close eye on it. We have some CDs, we have some other things in place. That's all part of our budget conversation. That's your rainy day fund, right? But you want a policy in place that, again, creates a paper trail and creates a standard of no matter who sits there and no matter who does this, sorry, these are the boards you see behind you, my hands are clean. That policy sets the standard for what we're going to do every single day, anytime an investment comes up. And so it's much the same. This is not something new, but it is not something that council has approved before. And it also follows all Texas state laws. Nikki has to do special training every year because she's the investment officer for Gun Barrel City, and so that's part of this. So, any questions about that one? And then the final one is the purchasing manual, and I gave you both the 2024 copy and the 2014 copy. I highlighted on the 2024 copy, not necessarily what was added. It could have been added or it could have been changed. And so we added to just a final line item, and we've done this in our ordinances, we've done it in our charter, ensure all state laws are followed. That kind of provides us that protection that if tomorrow the state of Texas changes their purchasing laws, we're going to follow them, right? We may not amend this tomorrow, but we were going to follow because that is the one thing that can end us all up in what I call blunder. It's not following purchasing laws. It is a very big no-no with the state. So we added that. We also, Nikki and I talked a lot about really starting to look at hub vendors, which are historically underutilized businesses. There's now another one, certified disadvantaged businesses, when we're getting quotes. And that's something that wasn't a part of our policy before. But having staff, there's a list of vendors out there that are, women-owned, minority-owned, but they tend to be historically underutilized. And we don't have to use them, but we are going to try to get a quote from these folks to keep that, to keep that going. I will tell you, in the last year, staff has done a really good job of using local anytime we can. We do not use local every time. We had to order those things, those words are sitting on easels. It was very cheap and very easy. I could have them overnight from Amazon. That's what we did. But when we can, our team has made a effort to use a local Gun Barrel City business. So we use Ty at Great Rock a lot, right? He helps us with a lot of projects. When we can do that, and it makes financial sense to do that, we have used those local businesses. So we didn't make that necessarily a part of this policy, but that is something we have been doing. And then the other main thing that changed on this is we made our purchasing rules in line with city law. So the 0 to $29.99, the $29.99 to $49.99, and over $50,000, that follows exactly, those words can write off state law. So they used to have a lot of levels in there, and I will tell you, I don't know that I today still understand it. We kind of use these guidelines because that's what state law says. It makes it much easier for our staff to get bids. They know exactly what those thresholds are. Within budgeted,